Crushing the meta.
On our channel we are Team Crushing the Meta, and today I'm here for you guys with the deck profile on Scharhrot Vampire. So as most of you guys already know, I like to play Dark Irregulars. I played Amon for a very long time, and I also play Blade Wings, a different build from the build that is stopping, but I could also show you that if you want me to. I could also show you the build that is stopping, but today I wanted to show you Scharhrot Vampire because it's a deck that I made because for me, I really didn't play Scharhrot before this, and with a new support I thought why not give it a chance. And I really enjoy playing the deck. The deck is also very strong, and I think that we will see a lot of players playing this deck in tournaments and mostly in fun matches. So yeah, let's just go through the deck. I will go fast through the deck, and then I will explain some of my choices. For the grade 3 lineup, I like to play 6 copies of Scharhrot, so 4 of the new one, 2 of the old one, and of course 2 copies of Glenzend, so 8 grade 3s. 11 grade 2 start up with 4 copies of Executionary, 4 copies of Double Vampire, and 3 copies of Brennan Vampire, or whatever you can call him. Brennan Vampire. For the grade 1s, I like to play the Balloon as your Vanguard, as your Perfect Guard, I mean. And of course, there is no reason not to run Jaeger, so play him at 4. 2 more Stride Fathers, and I like to add Edge as an extra grade 1. You could replace him with anything you want. I like to play 3 of him, which I will tell you later why. For the trigger lineup, 4 heals, of course, Vincent, because he's shiny and because he has a skill. Then we have 4 critical trigger, and then 8 stands, 8 cats, because 4 are not enough. Why not play 8? I like to run 1 copy of Enigman, and my starter is the new one. The Enigman is good in here because she gives you the option to make the strong Gilderay attack. If you want to take her out, I advise you to put a grade 2 in here. Normally I play him at 4, but I really wanted to give her a chance. For these strides, of course, you play 4 copies of Leathermoss. There is no reason to play less. Only 2 Gilderay. There is no reason to play more. 1 of the GB8s because you play stands. 1 of Sin. I don't really know why I like the SB more than the SGR, but yeah, play 1 copy of him. Then I play 1 of each of your first strides if you haven't G-Guard yet. Play 1 Seabreeze because the deck, most of the skills are all GB1, so if your opponent is staying on grade 2, they want to play the grade 2 game, then you don't really want to play the grade 2 game, and you could get your counter charges back, especially if you ride the new Scharhrot, then it's not a problem. So that's why I like to play Seabreeze in here. 1 Desmiel to be able to guard your rear guards and keep them safe, and sometimes it's really important to play against Narukami and Dimensional Police to have this card in your deck. And then I play 1 of each, so 1 Vincent, 1 Saint German, 1 of the new guy, and 1 Bat. The G-Guardians are really nice to have the option to go into each and every one. So let's go back to the deck and explain it. As I said, the Seabreeze is important to guard your rear guards and keep them safe. And of course, Dimension Police and Narukami's. The Vincent is nice because he is a very good shield, and he also gives you a Soul Charge too because you play the heal trigger. So that's amazing because he gives you darkness in your opponent's turn, and then most of your skills will go off, like the stand cats, which could guard for 5k more, so it's a 15k shield. 1 Saint German, always play at least 1 copy of him. At 10 cards in your soul, he gives you the extra shield, and at 15 he makes all of your rear guards and Vanguards and G-Guardians have resist. So this card is amazing against Dimensional Police. This guy is really good because whenever you have 10 cards and more in your soul, you got +1 and he gets an extra 5k, and your Vanguard get an extra 5k. So let's say you play against decks that have some kind of melems that attacks multiple attack, then he's good because gives the extra 5k to your Vanguard. and of course 1 bat to be able to give darkness in your opponent's turn, and it's an easy 5k shield and an easy soul charge. Sea Breeze for the GB1. One of each of the first turn stride, or your first strides. This is the new card. If you haven't read it yet, you could pause the video or read it. He is very impressive in my opinion, and it's just amazing that he's only a rare. So counterblast 1 and then you flip something from your G-Zone. That's nice because you can go faster to the GB8 if you want to. He soul charges 3, and whenever different grade you soul charge, he soul charges 1 more, and you give one of your rare guards an extra 5k. Then, if the number of cards you soul charge with darkness are 1 or more, you can get one of your grade 3s from your soul back to your hand. So that's nice, because give you the extra grade 3 that you want to call as rare guard. His skill isn't acted once per turn, so... But sometimes you don't have the counterblast to go into him, or you don't really want to pay the last counterblast to go into him, because you don't have a cat, or because you think that you maybe soul charge a Jaeger. That's why you sometimes go into him, which is an extra soul charge 2, so soul charge is only 2. On hit, he retires one of your opponent's rare guards, they choose, and if you have 15 or more, he gets an extra 1k for each card in your soul. But mostly, you use him. If you don't have the counterblast, you go into him. And whenever you have to flip something, you can flip him or flip the Sea Breeze. It's up to you. One sin, of course, it's really nice to wipe your opponent's field out, and he still has the same skill as Gilded Ray, which is your opponent can't guard with grade 1s and higher, or his skill is only Sentinels. Yeah, your opponent can't guard with Sentinels. If you have 15 cards or more in your soul, then you get that skill. If you have 10 or more, he retires all of your opponent's rare guards, and he gets an extra 10k. So it's really nice. The only downside to him is you put all of your rare guards into your soul as well, but that's alright. GB8, because you play a lot of stand triggers, make some of your rare guards incredibly strong and incredibly deadly. It's like Dimax. Whenever your opponent is at 4 damage, they have to guard everything because your front row will get an extra crit and power. The Gilded Ray, of course, you play the Assassin, you play the Gilded Ray, because Gilded Ray is still one of the best finishers in the game. Then we have the new Stride, which is another win condition that Dark Regulus got. A restanding Vanguard with the ability to put all grade 0s from your field and your soul back to your deck if you have 10 or more cards in your soul. It's really nice. A counterblast 1, which is nothing. Put 2 cards from your hand into your soul, which you could put triggers or grade 0s that you want to have back into your deck. And then from there, he could restand once and he will lose the twin drive. A twin drive, so he still have 1 drive. So that's it for him. He is good enough to kill your opponent on the second stride. And sometimes if you go into the late game, you could stride him second time, so your third stride, or go into the GB8, or sometimes even Gilded Ray. I play the stance, of course, because if you haven't figured it out yet, this deck is about to make your opponent use all of their G Guardians, their Perfect Guards, to guard your double Vampires, your Scharhrot Vampire, your second time attacking with Bledermaus. Even Gilded Ray, they have to burn into 2 G Guardians at least to be able to guard him, so that's why you play this much stand triggers. She gets an extra 5k whenever you have darkness, as power and as shield, so that's nice. And she's amazing. She's a counter charge, an extra draw, and an extra soul charge. Draw, soul charge, and a counter charge. Perfect. If you have 10 or more, you get the full skill. Then of course the crit, because you have a restanding Vanguard and because it goes into the soul, that would mean it goes back to the deck. It's really good to have her. Vincent, because with the Vincent G Guardian, it's an extra soul charge. He's shiny, so why not? And I love the little guy right here. Grade 1, as I said, you could take Edge for whatever you want to put in here. I like him because he's a 10k attacker and he could intercept as well. Also, he's a 10k booster, which means that you could make your Scharhrot by himself. This by itself, the this attacking power is 26. So that's amazing. Your opponent can't guard with great zeros. So that's why Edge is in here, just for the extra power. And also it has darkness. But you can take it out to put whatever you want. 2 stride followers to get the right grade 3 into your hand. And sometimes to get even more grade 3s to call them and to be able to pressure your opponent faster. Because getting into the 10 soul is really easy in this deck. 4 Jaegers, stride follower, extra draw power. There is a lot to talk about this card, but it will take a lot of time. So if you want me to make a video just to talk about him, then I could do so. But this card is so good. This is one of the cards that took Dark Regulus from being a tier 3 deck to a tier 1 deck. Meaning Bladewing, meaning also Scharhrot could go into tier 1 if played right, but mostly Bladewing. For the Balloon, there is no reason to play the Succubus in this deck because you don't really have a lot of great ones that you want to retire, but I like to play the Succubus in Bladewings. Oh yeah, if you don't know what it does, it gives you an extra draw if you have Darkness and if you have her into your soul, whenever you guard with her. The grade 2 lineup of 3 copies of him give you the extra soul charge, and he also gives you extra draw. But the downside to this card is that whenever you get a stand trigger, you can't re-stand him anymore because he goes into the soul. So yeah, that's the only downside to this. But normally, it's a very good card because you can just call it in the early game. If they retire your starter, it's alright. Attack with it, and when you get GB1, you can power him up and you draw a card. Double Vampire, which does the same as the new Scharhrot, of course, just being able to make your opponent can't guard with great zeros. So make your opponent miserable and waste their G Guardians. Then Executionary. Look at the top 7 cards and put one of them with Darkness into your soul. And if you have enough Counterblasts to use his first skill, which is once per turn GB1, this card could get an extra 2k. And also if you have, I think 10 or more. Yeah, if the number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, you get an extra 3k. So the 2k is 4-6, and the extra 3k, so you get 5k if you have 10. I, of course, like to play 2 copies of Glensend. I've seen people play more and less grade 3s. I like him at 2. He's a Counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Soul charge as much as you want with Darkness ability. You get 1k for each card you soul charge. But it's all about soul charging the right cards, because most of the skills in this deck don't soul charge randomly. So it's really nice to soul charge whatever you want. And also he has the Vanguard skill, but you don't really use that a lot, which puts one of your Regards into your soul, which could be a Jaeger, but it's a Counterblast 1 as well. And then, let me read. If the number of cards in your soul is 6 or more, you draw a card, and then if the number of cards in your soul is 15 or more, you countercharge 1 and your opponent retire one of his or her Regards. The downside to this card is that it only works as Vanguard and it's not a stride skill. So it's GB1, but sometimes if you can't stride, then he's good as Vanguard, but you always can stride, so there is no reason to ride into him. And that's the reason why I like to play this much Scharhrots in this deck. The new Scharhrot is perfect to have as Vanguard and amazing to have as Rearguard, but sometimes you really don't want to ride the Glensend, and sometimes this card is also good. The reason why the old Scharhrot is good is he gives the ability that you retire whenever your Vanguard attacks. So let's say you attack twice with Bredemas, then your opponent would have to retire 2 Rearguards, but he costs your Counterblast and he doesn't. And he also has the GB2 skill, of course, which is during your turn, if the number of cards in your soul 6 or more, he get an extra 10k, and then if the number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, he get a crit. So 10k and a crit is alright. It's really nice. If you have like you can't stride and you could call your edge behind him, then this is a 31 column. A 31k column with a crit is devastating in the late game if your opponent can't guard it, or if you know their drive check. so sometimes his GB2 skill is also good. And his skill, of course, is the same, that he get an extra 5k in your opponent count card with crit zeros, but he doesn't get a crit. So that's it for my deck profile. Tell me what you think about this deck. I myself enjoy this deck a lot. I love the sleeves, I love the playmat, I love the art of the Dark Regulus, of course. If you agree with me on the deck list, tell me. If you don't, tell us as well. Tell us what you want to play different, especially about the trigger lineup. The trigger lineup does make the playstyle different of the deck. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos for Blade Master and other deck profiles. Ciao.